fall of the House of Usher. Son cœur est un loup suspendu, sitôt qu'on le touche, il résonne. De Béranger. During the whole of a dull, dark, and soundless day in the autumn of the year, when the clouds hung oppressively low in the heavens, I had been passing alone, on horseback, through a singularly dreary tract of country, and at length found myself I reckon so too, Slip. At length I found myself, as the shades of the evening drew on, within view of the melancholy house of Usher. Sure. I know not how it was, but with the first glimpse of the building, a sense of insufferable gloom pervaded my spirit. I say insufferable, for the feeling was unrelieved by any of that half pleasurable as poetic sentiment, which the mind usually receives even the sternest natural images of the desolate or terrible. I looked upon the scene before me, upon the mere house, and the simple landscape features of the domain, upon the bleak walls, upon the vacant eye-like windows, upon a few rank sedges, and upon a few white trunks of decayed trees, with an utter depression of soul which I can compare to no earthly sensation more properly than to the after-dream of the reveller upon opium. The bitter lapse into everyday life, the hideous dropping off of the veil. There was an iciness, a sinking, a sickening of the heart, an unredeemed dreariness of thought which no goading of the imagination could torture into aught of the sublime. What was it, I paused to think, what was it that so unnerved me in the contemplation of the House of Usher? It was a mystery all insoluble, nor could I grapple with the shadowy fancies that crowded upon me as I pondered. I was forced to fall back upon the unsatisfactory conclusion that while beyond doubt there are combinations of very simple natural objects which have the power of thus affecting us, still the analysis of this power lies among considerations beyond our depth. It was possible, I reflected, that a mere different arrangement of the particulars of the scene, of the details of the picture, would be sufficient to modify or perhaps to annihilate its capacity for sorrowful impression. And acting upon this idea, I reined my horse to the precipitous brink of a black and lurid tarn that lay in unruffled luster by the dwelling, and gazed down, but with a shudder even more thrilling than before, upon the remodeled and inverted images of the gray sedge and the ghastly tree stems, the vacant and eye-like window. Nevertheless, in this mansion of gloom I now proposed to myself a sojourn of some weeks. Its proprietor, Roderick Usher, had been one of my boon companions in boyhood, but many years had elapsed since our last meeting. A letter, however, had lately reached me in a distant part of the country, a letter from him which, in its wildly importunate nature, had admitted of no other than a personal reply. The MS gave evidence of nervous agitation. The writer spoke of acute bodily illness, of a mental disorder which oppressed him, and of an earnest desire to see me, as his best and indeed his only personal friend, with a view of attempting, by the cheerfulness of my society, some alleviation of his malady. It was the manner in which all this and much more was said, it was the apparent heart that went with his request, which allowed me no room for hesitation, and I accordingly obeyed forthwith what I still considered a very singular summons. Although as boys we had been even intimate associates, yet I really knew little of my friend. His reserve had been always excessive and habitual. I was aware, however, that his very ancient family had been noted, time out of mind, for a peculiar sensibility of temperament, displaying itself through long ages in many works of exalted art, and manifested of late in repeated deeds of munificent yet unobtrusive charity, as well as in a passionate devotion to the to the intricacies, perhaps even more than to the orthodox and easily recognizable beauties of musical science. I had learned, too, the very remarkable fact that the stem of the Usher race, all time honored as it was, had put forth no period any enduring bread. In other words, that the entire family lay in the direct line of descent, and had always, with very trifling and very temporary variation, so lain. It was this deficiency I considered while running over in thought the perfect keeping of the character of the premises with the accredited character of the people, and while speculating upon the possible influence which the one, in the long lapse of centuries, might have exercised upon the other. It was this deficiency, perhaps, of collateral issue, and the consequent undeviating transmission from sire to son of the patrimony with the name which had at length so identified the two as to merge the original title of the estate in the quaint and equivocal appellation of the House of Usher, an appellation which seemed to include in the minds of the peasantry who used it both the family and the family mentioned. Hello, Trey. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. How's your evening so far? It's not so. It's just early evening for you, I guess. Oh no, that shouldn't be. Yeah. Oh no, it's quite. It's getting on for evening. I had to. Let's see. I lost all my things. Chat. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, I got to watch you guys a little bit when I was watching Wench. Oh yeah, because you're better for playing with Steph and Panda, Wench, and all of them. Or what is it you're trying to say there? Steph was playing something else though today. I noticed. I noticed. Playing ready or not. Right, because is it is it their elo that's so high they just get their rank is high. And that's even is that how it works then? So when you play, yeah, okay. So when you play with them, you're playing against better players. Uh, Yeah, I like playing with better players as well, even though it's difficult. You haven't been playing much Super Peoples lately, though. To be fair, I didn't really get much of a chance to play Super People last week either. They switched to Destiny 2. Mm, working on some raids in Destiny. Nice. Are those not your dogs then either? Aw, Trey posting picture doggos. They were cute. Whose doggos are those? If you don't mind my asking. They're your aunts. What kinds of dogs are they? They're very, yeah, very lovely doggos. They're kind of matching doggos. Oh, nice. A little bit of husky, huh? Uh, well, let's see. Oh, we're an hour in, and we've done one story by Poe. Fair enough. I would love to dog sit. I hope your aunt, that meant that your aunt had some good time off. Nice. Very nice of you to do that. Well, I appreciate you stopping in and lurking while you're playing your Val games. Hope the rest of them go well. Thanks for saying hello. Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. Vegas. How long is that flight from Alaska to Vegas? Oh, nice. Thank you. Actually, it might be a good time for me to refill my coffee. 5 to 6 hours. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Oh, yep, I like this one. Gotta give it a like. Oh, it's called Happily Ever After. All right, give me a minute. Well, less than a minute, really, just to refill my coffee. I shall be back. And we'll continue with the House of Usher. Usher, Usher. Right. 5 hours, 10 minutes nonstop. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. That's not a bad. Actually, that's pretty easy. I have said that the sole effect of my somewhat childish experiment, that of looking down within the tarn, had been to deepen the first singular impression. There can be no doubt that the consciousness of the rapid increase of my superstition, or why should I not so term it, served mainly to accelerate the increase itself. Such I have long known is the paradoxical law of all sentiments having terror as a basis. And it might have been for this reason only that when I again uplifted my eyes to the house itself, from its image in the pool, there grew in my mind a strange fancy. A fancy so ridiculous indeed that I but mention it to show the vivid force of the sensations which oppressed me. I had so worked upon my imagination as really to believe that about the whole mansion and domain there hung an atmosphere peculiar to themselves and their immediate vicinity, an atmosphere which had no affinity with the air of heaven, but which had reeked up from the decayed trees and the grey wall and the silent tarn, a pestilent and mystic vapor,